Hello my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. I speak about these things all the time, but somehow there's always confusion because I'd say that the indoctrinated programs always interfering with the information that comes in. And what I mean by this, that when you are looking at information and processing it, then you automatically involve your knowledge. Your knowledge are the indoctrinated programs or through your experiences or education that you have received, and you are trying to make a sense of the new information that comes in. So if the information that you have stored and that you value as truthful information is not agreeing with the new information coming in, it will already start making its own version of what is coming in. It elaborates on it right away. And maybe this is what is, well, not maybe, I'm sure that this is the biggest reason why not every information is processed the same way. This is why some people interpret the same experience one way or the other way. Why I'm making this video? Because again, I received a few requests of explaining things. How come that, for example, I had a big psoriasis problem or rash on the skin, and I'm drinking plasma, and instead of skin getting better, it's actually getting worse. So if I'm cleansing and I'm having diarrhea and I'm cleansing, how come that the skin is getting worse? And it's not only with the skin, it could be with any health issue that we experience, because again, the health problems are not created by what we are being told, that it's the germ, like the germ theory. We are being so confused with the whole issue of germ. Well, confused, we are not even thinking about it. So not that we are confused, we just don't think, and we react the way we are programmed to react through education. So we are always being told, oh, wash your hands well. Muslims, or, well, but basically those are Muslims that wash their behind after going to bathroom. They're educated since childhood to use their left hand. And this is why when in a public, and if you reach for food, you don't reach with left hand, because right, everybody think, oh, but this is a full of crap. Okay, you use right hand because this is the clean hand. So we are told by our parents, wash your hands really well every time you go out from the bathroom, because those are germs. So you are eliminating germs, the bacteria in your excrement. This is toxic stuff. But then through science, we are being told, whoa, this bacteria in your gut, this is your second brain. This is your primary immune system. This is very important. So you gotta take probiotics. If you don't have enough, you took antibiotic and they destroyed some of your bacteria in the gut. You need to take probiotics to replenish the bacteria. But God forbid that you don't wash your hands after bathroom, because some bacteria may be on your hand. I mean, anybody thinking at all? We are being punished if you're on a boat and you don't use your holding tank and you eliminate directly in the water, this is a big fine because you are polluting. But then you go to the store to buy this freaking bacteria to eat it because it's healthy. You need that stuff. Don't you find it just ridiculous? So that's one part of it. But now, more people are getting known about my work, introduced to my work, because when they are on a animal diet, animal protein, meat diet, the primal diet, the lion diet, then often they feel issues coming up. And the primal diet is not really resolved then. And especially in the beginning, the issues are becoming strong. And why do they occur? Because when we start poisoning ourselves with the plants, our digestive system, our cells in our digestive tract, your intestines, they start absorbing better because they're not being poisoned. When you are putting toxic plants in, seeds and stuff, since they have toxic elements, your cells will tighten the membrane. They cringe, not allowing the stuff to penetrate. Well, absorption doesn't occur. So you are not absorbing well. When you cook your plants, the heat very often will destroy a lot of those toxins. The heat changes the vibration. So they start vibrating differently, which means in many cases they will not be toxic because they achieve different state of vibration. We know fruits, when they are green, not ripe yet, they are toxic and acidic. Acids carry the toxicity. Not that acid is toxic, but these toxins are also related to some acids. There are many different types of acids. In apple, apple acid is actually good for us. In lemon, the lemonic acid is good to us, for us, in low levels. But there are also some bad acids. Now, when fruit ripens, it turns from acidic into sweet. Why? Frequency shifted. And now the fruit is not toxic anymore. And instead, it has fructose, the sweetness to attract you to it. So you eat it because you like the taste. And it's seldom only sweet, it's sweet acid. Okay, because some acids still remain. But the fructose is there to make us eat the fruit, and this way we spread the seeds a little bit further from the tree. Now, when we are talking about the body, you start eating fruits, increased frequency is going to change the vibration and change the manifestation of it, and part of it is how it interacts with the frequency of your healthy body. But when you eat plants, most of them will protect themselves from being eaten, and they do it through toxic frequencies being manifested either through toxic protein as a toxic protein or as a phenol. There are many, many different manifestations of these toxins. And we gave them names which are all irrelevant. It's all about frequency. So as long as you are eating a raw plant food, your absorption is not really great. And even most of the plasma, water with minerals, does not get even absorbed because of polluted intestines. This is why if your intestines are in bad shape, if they are cringed, if your cells are tight, if you drink 1 glass of salty water, it does not even get absorbed into your blood. It immediately causes the diarrhea. It liquefies the content in your intestines and you just shoot it out. And when the intestines are in better shape, when they are not that poisoned, when the absorption is adequate, then you absorb not only the water, but you are absorbing better the nutrients. Because of malabsorption, eating raw vegetables, salads and stuff, we say it's purging, it's healthy. Well, yeah, it keeps your cells closed, and this way it keeps the water there and makes it easier to eliminate the content of your intestines, and all the toxic stuff that you ate will be eliminated. So things work differently than what we think how they work. We just have to separate ourselves from science and start actually thinking how things work. So the carnivores that I introduced to my work, they often leave comments like, well, carnivore animals, they do not have to drink water. Who said so? Did you ever watch any of the videos on YouTube or programs on television about nature? All the time you see lions, tigers, leopard drinking water. They have to go usually in the evening and in the morning. First thing they do, when they eat, after they eat, they usually go and drink. Okay, because they urinate. If you urinate, you have to replenish, because urine came from your blood plasma. It's your blood plasma with stuff that body wants to eliminate. So otherwise you would not have to urinate. If there is nothing to eliminate, you're not going to urinate. That's it. Why would body eliminate blood plasma unless it's necessary? I guess for indoctrinated brain, this is very difficult to understand. Same like my grandmother was saying, oh, you have to eat meat, this is good. And when I told my grandmother, oh yeah, this is a muscle. No, this is a muscle, this is a meat. You don't eat muscle. Because, you know, the brain somehow, we do not live now normal lives. The city people, they don't know most of the animals. And they definitely don't even think about what are animals and how things work. Milk, where does the milk come from? Well, from a store, from a pack. Yeah, it comes from cow or goat. Okay, and this is why it's so easy for us to be indoctrinated. Oh, don't drink the milk from cow, drink the milk from coconut, or drink the milk from almond. Well, did you ever try to milk almond tree or coconut tree? You don't get any milk out. So that's not milk. It's a white liquid loaded with starches and wrong acids, acid, because fat is acid, fatty acids. Anyway, so going back on the track, I always get lost going around because everything is connected, everything is related. As we say, we are one. What means we are one? It's not only you and I are one. It's you and I and this house and the nature and the animals. We are all one. It's the same consciousness. And we are creating science by trying to figure out how does this consciousness work? How does this reality, we call it, work? And we go about it by breaking it apart, and this is a very bad way to figure things out. You don't start the house from the roof and breaking the roof and seeing how you're going to build what is underneath the roof. You go from the foundation. You first check the soil, where to put a foundation. And then you start putting foundation with the drainage and all the stuff, because you start understanding what is necessary. Well, we don't go there. Why? Because if we really want to get scientific, and we want to go to the soil, to the essence of it all, we have to go to ether. And how do you start from ether when there are no tools there? There are no building blocks there. How do you start? Because you have to go into consciousness. The consciousness builds everything up. And if you start building things from consciousness, then you start understanding that everything that has to be changed can be changed, and only can be changed through consciousness. Everything else is patching. You are just patching. So this way you are like cutting wires so the warning light bulbs don't come up. And that's all we do with our medicine, or medicine we call. So, again, we have to start understanding things on completely different level unknown to us. And it's unknown not because we did not know about it or we are discovering something new. No, we just have to remember, because we have been duped into forgetting. And now we have to remember again. And this is what we are doing. This is the awakening process. It's a process of remembering. So, you urinate, you got to drink. There is no other way around. You have diarrhea, you got to drink. Even if you eliminate excrement, if the excrement is soft, it means contains a lot of plasma, you got to drink. Certain animals have very dry excrement because those animals are designed to live in dry areas. But if the animal that is not living in dry area has very hard dry excrement, this animal is toxic. Why is toxic? Because body is trying to suck in as much liquid as possible so it can cleanse. And this is what makes you thirsty. The thirst doesn't come because you are dehydrated. Elderly, they are all dehydrated. They look like a dry prunes, like a dry fruit. They are so dehydrated and they are not thirsty. Why? Because the blood is not as toxic. Although the cells, everything is toxic. But body is not in a cleansing process. And it is not a cleansing process because it cannot afford to cleanse. There is not enough plasma. As soon as you start providing plasma, the body goes into cleansing mode. If it is toxic. If it's not toxic, it's not going to cleanse. So it will just absorb plasma and then eliminate surplus. No big deal. You can not overfill a glass. You can just fill it to the rim. Anything more spills out. Same as with the body. You can drink as much plasma as you want. Not water. Plasma. Because if you drink a lot of water, you will be eliminating the surplus, but you are not eliminating what you are drinking. What you are drinking goes in and is being absorbed. So what you are eliminating your blood plasma. So you are losing minerals. And if you are replenishing the lost plasma with the water, you are having less and less minerals in the blood. So the body has to release more water, trying to keep the mineral concentration on a certain level to maintain the blood electroconductive. Because if the electroconductivity goes down, we die. This is the energy. This is the life force. So if you are drinking a lot of plain water, especially distilled water, you are going to faint and die. There is no recovering from that because everything stops working. So even absorption doesn't work. So later on you take salt and you're not going to absorb it because your system is not powered anymore. You cannot recover from this. So we have to be very careful that we have enough minerals in the blood, which means eat enough salt. But then we are being told, no, don't eat salt. Salt raises blood pressure. You see, you have more salt, your blood pressure increases. Yeah. You are going to hold more plasma in the body. Your plasma level in the blood will rise, which means your blood is going to thin down like blood of a child. But this doesn't happen if there are toxins in the blood. Because if blood is toxic, plasma you drink, your body immediately tries to figure out how to eliminate these toxins. So you drink plasma and you have diarrhea. Why you have diarrhea? Because you are eliminating toxins. You are not going to have diarrhea unless there is toxicity in your gut. Well, but you didn't eat anything, so how can your gut be toxic? Well, you drank plasma, was absorbed into the blood was toxic, and immediately, since the toxicity is on a higher level, some of it goes through kidneys, but some of it will go through mucosal tissue. It goes right there through intestine in a form of toxic mucus. And it goes into the intestine, creating toxic environment and urge to eliminate. And you eliminate this toxic mucus we call diarrhea. So, if you are drinking a lot of plasma and you are having diarrhea, this means you are eliminating toxins. If you are, and that your blood is toxic and you are eliminating toxins. If you are drinking a lot of plasma and you are not having diarrhea, but you urinate a lot, well, the toxicity is not high enough, and mostly we are talking about surplus. It could be even the surplus of minerals that you are taking in through salt, and you are just eliminating through kidneys. Kidneys can cope with this type of toxicity. But if you have diarrhea, you are eliminating toxins from the blood. So it is better to have as much diarrhea as possible to eliminate as many toxins as possible. Now, is it important to have diarrhea for a long time? That doesn't depend on your wish. If the blood becomes less toxic and your kidneys can handle it, your diarrhea will stop, no matter how much plasma you drink, and you are going to be eliminating through kidneys. You just urinate a lot. Unless, again, you drink pure seawater that will have huge overload of minerals, and then you will be eliminating through urine and through mucosal tissue simultaneously, because it's a high surplus which becomes toxic. It's not going to harm your body because it will be eliminated. And through this elimination, you also eliminate other surpluses or toxic things which are in your blood or in your body. And once when the blood starts, so at the beginning when you start hydrating with plasma, you are not really hydrating, you are eliminating. But then the programs are going to be monitoring what is more important, to eliminate or to hydrate. Because if the toxins are not problematic and the dehydration is very, very high, you're low on blood plasma, body decides to accumulate, to hold it. And you are filling your circulatory system. Your blood level is rising. You're diluting your blood, which this is how it should be. Blood should be bright red and very liquidy. It should not form big drops. You make a cut and just flows out, spreads out. The more dehydrated is the blood, the more tension it will have within, and it will make a round drop. So you cut yourself and you have like this bubble on. It doesn't flow because it's dehydrated. It's very dense. And when you start hydrating, it just spreads, but it rises in volume. You have more blood. You produce more lymph. Lymph flows better and starts poking all that stored leftovers and garbage that is left in the tissue, because it could not be cleansed, because body could not afford to waste more lymph. And now you have more toxic blood. So instead of having blood less toxic when you are in a process of hydration, your blood becomes more toxic because toxins are being flushed from your tissue into the blood, so then through blood cleansing organs, these toxins can be eliminated. And we know that blood cleansing organs, we have the primaries, which are kidneys. We have the secondary, which is your mucosal tissue, which in men it's going to be basically digestive and respiratory system. And in women, this also involves uterus, vagina. And this is why when more toxic is the tissue and more toxic is the blood, the more mucus you are going to be forming in your mucous tissue. You're going to have phlegm. You're going to have a slimy excrement or diarrhea, if possible, if there is enough liquid that can be used. You are going to sweat. Again, if you can lose the plasma. If you can't, you're going to start having boils. You're going to start having rashes. You're going to start having seborrhea, psoriasis. Okay, so we just have to understand how the body works. And when you start hydrating, again, recently I had an email sent to me. Said, Darko, I'm a young man in my early 20s, and I exercise, and I eat good. I switched to carnivore diet, I don't know, a year ago, a few years ago. And I was feeling good. So I started drinking plasma, what you call plasma. And all of a sudden now I'm having problems. I never had flu. Now I have a flu. I have symptoms of flu. And I don't feel good. I feel tired. Why am I tired? I did not feel tired before I started drinking plasma. Well, you were not cleansing, my friend. And your body can be toxic, but if your blood is kept relatively clean, you don't know that you are toxic until the body starts releasing these toxins. And it is not going to be releasing them if there is problem eliminating them from our blood. If blood is dehydrated, it goes the other way. Toxins are going to be packed in a tissue instead of taken out from a tissue. So blood has to start getting hydrated first. So when you start drinking plasma, well, first the dehydrated blood will try to hydrate, but if it's toxic, it will start eliminating toxins first. And you start feeling better. But as soon as level of toxicity in the blood drops, which means now blood can hydrate because now it doesn't have to eliminate so much, so it starts increasing the volume of blood. You start poking now all the toxic stuff from the tissue, and it starts going into the blood, and it's released much faster than the blood is capable of eliminating. So it is again not allowed to flow fast into the bloodstream, and it stays in your lymphatic tissue, and it actually stays as retained toxic liquid under your skin, makes your skin puffy. Again, it's all about understanding how the body works. If you are young and you are on carnivore diet and you feel great, you don't have to go and cleanse. Nobody forces you. But you are going to have issues sooner or later, because the body is programmed to cleanse as long as all the parameters are there. You have a car. Yes, you can use the car, but unless you have fuel in it, you won't be able to. Well, the water, the plasma, is part of the fuel. You don't have it, the body cannot actually work correctly. But as soon as you start providing plasma, now body is going to work according to programs. And it will not do what you want it to do unless you instruct your body in a certain way. And you instruct the body with your thoughts. And you can amplify thoughts, the power of vibration, through sound, through your words. Every word represents the thought, which relates to a particular frequency that you want to achieve. And here we are going into true healing. Joe Dispenza. Watch his stuff, because this is what he explains. How to use your mind to heal yourself. Ego controls the mind. Mind allows the manifestation. The only problem is that mind is not powerful enough. The true manifestation comes through heart, because mind has polarity, and there is always contradiction. There is always doubt, which you don't have in the heart. So you want to manifest something, you have to go down into your heart. So it has to be what we call heartfelt. When you pardon someone, if you do it just from a brain, yeah, I'm pardoning you, okay, I'm forgiving you, okay. This means zilch. unless it comes into the heart and you pardon from the unity of the heart. And this is the only thing that counts. A lot of things we have to learn that we are not familiar with because we have been misguided on purpose through our indoctrination system. We call it educational system. This has to all change. And there is no repairing it. It has to be deconstructed and build new from scratch, from the foundation. Same is with political system, same is with banking system. It has to be all taken apart, deconstructed, and then reconstructed new, which is being done on all three levels. We are learning the new way of educating. We are learning the new way of banking, which is going to go through Jasara, global system. And political system, well, that's going to be fun. Because I don't think we know yet what to do with that stuff. But we have learned one thing for sure. We cannot allow someone else to represent us. Because as soon as you give your power to someone else, there is a chance for it to be used against you or to be used in the wrong way. Without you even knowing. We have direct experience of this. Our governments, they do not represent our will. But we have been so far removed from the reality that first we yell, oh yeah, we got to change the government. And then when we actually start changing the government, and the government people start saying, oh, this is unconstitutional. This is not democratic. We are being taken down. The democracy is being taken down. No. Democracy is actually what is taking down the system. It was legally voted in power. That is taking down what we always wanted to do, but now they are yelling wolf, so everybody else, those brainwashed and very deeply entrenched in this old system, they start protecting those that they want to remove in the first place. Crazy, huh? But it's a mind. This is how the mind works. It's very easy to be kidnapped because it's removed from soul. Soul is the conscious unity. Radiates through heart. Heart chakra. And we have to focus on this heart chakra. And we are uniting back. But to unite back, you have to let go of the indoctrinated stuff. So you have to be aware of the truth. And how can you be aware of the truth if you don't recognize it and you call it king? People voted the guy in to do things what he is doing, and now some people say, no, he is doing stuff that I don't approve. Well, you also wanted to change our government. Of course, there are people on that never worked in their life, that come from parents who were on government handouts. And this became their cultural issue. They don't want to work. Why should they work if they get things for free? And then they complain, yeah, but I want better car, and I want better this and better that. Well, go get it, work for it. No, government should give me everything. Well, who gives the money to government? Government has nothing. It's people that work that give to government. Which means you say, down the slavery, and you actually want to be the slave owner. You want others to slave for you. How does that work? Okay, my friends, we go from hydration and health to politics and slavery, but it's all one thing. And awakening process is not awakening to, oh, that politician was lying. That's not awakening. That's barely opening eye. We have to awaken to the reality, to the manipulation. And for that, we have to have not even knowledge, but just observation of the whole package. What good does it make to you to understand now, okay, I should eat meat, I should drink plasma, I'm going to cleanse. And now you start feeling good, and now you say, yeah, but you know, I would like girls to like me more, and they don't like me. I need to change something. I would like this to change, that change. How do you change things? Oh, pray to God. God, give me this and give me that, and find me this and find me that. Well, you are just dipping a little toe into something that you have to immerse yourself in. And this is the understanding that your reality is formed within. Christ is within. Christ is not some being that is in heaven somewhere out there. It's not about Christ. Christ was your brother. It's our brother. It was awakened human to a Christ consciousness. What we strive to is a Christ consciousness. It's a high level of vibration. When we started in St. Martin, somewhat 13, 14 years ago, when we started raising vibration consciously, people were vibrating majority on 678 hertz, somewhere in that area. I had it written somewhere. In one of my videos, you have it there. And then we start rising. The shaman that came from Peru, from Brazil, to St. Martin. We tested him. He was vibrating of 2,000 hertz. Vortex, 12,000 hertz. And we thought, whoa, that's going to be something, if only we could vibrate that high. Well, we did vibrate eventually by consciously raising vibration. We vibrated 12,000 and more. Now, majority of semi-conscious people vibrate on a frequency of 378,000 hertz. 1,000 hertz. Our vibration rose because of a rising vibration of Gaia, of Mother Earth, and we are bombarded with high frequencies from the sun. we are forced to raise vibration. And I had certain problems, psychological, and I came to Peru. My vibration was over 400,000 when I came here, while people were still on, majority people were still on the 680 hertz. But from there, my vibration actually dropped a little bit to 378,000. And my lives continue rising. My rise vibration now is 2,078 hertz. 2,078 hertz is her vibration. My vibration until last Saturday, a week ago, a little bit more, 10 days ago, my vibration was still like majority of people on 378,000 hertz. But through creating the circle, as I explained it in my last article I wrote on my site, I explained how I create a circle, and with it, with help of my wife, consciously now I'm raising frequency, and I'm being way more conscious about myself now. This is why I don't make so many videos. I still try to make my articles, but don't have time for everything because I have to focus on myself. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do what I have to do. So now I'm raising my frequency, and within a week or so, 10 days, my frequency now is 978,000 hertz. Today I'm going to go over a million. But I still have less than half of the vibration of my wife. I was alerted to my problem through my dear friend I call Angel, Liz, distant healer. And now she told me, get going, boy, you're going to be left behind. So here I am. And hopefully now with me doing the proper work and having my wife helping me, helping me with this, probably within the next 10 days I will be down up to 2 million hertz. There are people with higher frequency than that, but that's very good frequency. And even this, what I'm getting now, it's great improvement. So again, we are starting from scratch. We are learning, remembering things we should have known, but we have been tricked into forgetting. Things are changing rapidly, and we have to allow these changes. So don't be stubborn, don't hang too much around your ego. Start reacting with your heart more, with your feelings, and manifest things. And understand that when you are cleansing, this is not, okay, I'm washing dishes and with every drop of water it's cleaner and cleaner, because there are so many different layers in the body which do not only encompass the physicality, but also the astral projections, because it's all about frequency, your emotions. All this has a big role in the energetic flow within your body, because it is energetic body, electromagnetic body, and has to be cleansed to run well. And cleansing is not fun process. Yes, the cleansing can be done on a spiritual level by transmuting, shifting the frequency, so you don't have to take it out. You just transmute it, which I learned my body can do. But it will not do it unless I give the order. I'm in control. And I focus on everybody else but myself. So now I have to do a little bit my own work. Anyway, my friends, this is what you should be doing yourself. So start educating yourself more about spirituality, not religion. This is again taking you away from the original spirituality. In spirituality, in religion, spirituality is used as attraction. Okay, we are talking about Jesus, we are talking about Allah, we are talking about Krishna, we are talking about Vishnu, to trap you in. And then it gives you rules. You cannot drink this, you cannot listen to this music, you cannot do that, you have to circumcise yourself, you have to cover your face so nobody can see you but by your husband, you have to do. Has nothing to do with Creator. Zero. It's actually removing you from your spirituality. Because everything you need is within. Christ consciousness is within. Ask for it, search for it. Allow it to emerge. You cannot do it by paying your dues to church. Being seen. You see, I'm a good guy. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Means nothing. What means is what comes from your heart, from within. So find every day some time for yourself. And just sink in within. And if you don't know what to do, ask. Tell your soul, show me the way. And when something bubbles up, this is showing you. So then don't get consumed by it, but kiss it goodbye. Say, okay, I'm aware of this. From my heart, I'm distancing myself. I'm releasing this from myself. And then it will show you what you have to do next. Allow your soul, your spirit, your consciousness guide you. Okay, my friends, I think that I've pretty much answered the question why we need plasma, because of the physicality part of it. But we are being even instructed now by channelers and voices from the higher dimensions that our bodies need now more liquid. They say water, it's not water, it's plasma. Now they even say put some salt in the water when you drink it. So now it's becoming common knowledge. And you want to go slower with a detox? put less salt. But you have to drink plenty of water. And then you don't want to demineralize yourself, because as soon as you are eliminating, you need to replace not only water but minerals you are losing. By eating meat, you get minerals back. But then again, if your absorption is not good, you are not going to be absorbing well. It's always helping to use the sea salt, because your body will eliminate the surplus. So there's no problem. How much to use? As long as you feel it's salty, it's fine, just drink it. Blood has 9 grams of salt per liter. So you put 9 grams of salt per liter of water, you're fine. Nothing to worry about, that's your blood salinity. Okay, my friends, thank you for listening. Work on yourself. Don't ask for help. Ask for guidance. And you do the work. This is the only way out. God bless us all. Love you. Namaste.